Okay, so I'm here to do my speech today on ADHD and try to help persuade my audience on the side effects of ADHD and how to make ADHD children become successful members of society. ADHD has been a common problem. About 9% of the children in the United States are diagnosed with ADHD, and it seems to be a problem that is on the rise lately. ADHD is becoming a very common diagnosis with children in the world today, and around 4.1% of Americans age 18 or older are also affected by this disease. It's a very hard disease to diagnose since there is no current test right now to diagnose anyone with the disease. It's usually diagnosed between the age of 3 and 6 years old. And boys are 3 times more at risk than girls to get an ADHD diagnosis. Today I will be talking about some of the side effects that the stimulants give with the medications used to treat ADHD. I will also give you some of the benefits that the children get from taking these medications as well. And finally, I will be speaking about how parents or anyone out in society will be able to help children with ADHD become successful members of society. So first, let's talk about some of the side effects of ADHD. Some of the medications that they use, such as Vyvanse, Adderall, Ritalin, these type of medications can decrease a child's appetite, cause them to lose weight because they're not wanting to eat. They can also keep a child awake because the brain is stimulated by these medications, which it can make it very hard then for a child to sleep. So usually when ADHD medications are given, there is also a sleep medication given as well to help that child's brain shut down. The children can get things such as tics, repetitive movements of hands, arms, feet, legs, things like that. Some side effects of like tics can be, continuous noises that maybe the child isn't aware that they are making. These are just a few of the side effects that some of the stimulant medications used to treat ADHD can cause in a child. Now, some of the benefits from the medication, it can help improve a child's physical coordination. It can reduce their hyperactivity along with their impulsivity. Now, these medications will keep a child's brain going all day, so it could take a lot of trial and error. Sometimes it takes years to find a medication that is right for a child. Other times it can take just a few months. I guess it's just a trial and error with your doctor and your child to find the right medication to help them. Now I will be talking about as well how you as a parent or any of the other parents out there with a child with ADHD can help them become very successful. Now you can use a reward and consequence system with your child. The reason I'm talking about this is I do have an ADHD child myself, and I've had to use a lot of trial and error in finding the right thing that will work for my child. Reward consequence system, basically your child knows the rules, they know what they need to do, and if they don't do it, well then there will be a consequence for their actions. You need to make sure that you give your child feedback on everything they're doing, whether it is positive or negative. Make sure you're giving them feedback so that they do know that you are paying attention to them. You definitely want to encourage their strengths and their abilities that they do have. That will also help a child. Getting a routine with them is very, very important. You want to make sure that they have a schedule and that they stick to it. Sometimes a parent's schedule can change depending on their day, depending on their work schedule, things like that. But make sure any babysitters or anybody you have is also aware of your routine and schedule so you can keep that child on that schedule. Deviating from the schedule can cause the child's misbehavior. Things like that, they're not understanding what is going on. So you want to make sure that you keep them in as much of a routine as possible. Make sure that you have organization to everything in your house, outside your home. You want to make sure that you have rules for this child everywhere they go. You can also use the reward and consequence system along with that routine. That way the child will know what rules they have to follow, what things they have to do, and what things they are allowed and aren't allowed to do. This will help the child and keep them from being so impulsive. It may slow down some of the misbehaviors with the child as well. And I would hope that any of you listening to me today would join me in the effort. If you know someone with ADHD, or you know another parent with a child that has ADHD and may be struggling, hopefully some of the information I've shared with you today, such as keeping your child on a routine and on a schedule, making sure that your child is taking their medications on a daily basis, will definitely help them in the future, help them to become a successful child in society. We do want to make sure that anyone with ADHD stays on their meds and stays on a schedule or routine. If they deviate off of that, we try to get them back as soon as possible. These children with ADHD can be successful members of society. They just may need a little help because they do learn a little differently from anyone else. So I do want to thank you today for coming out and listening to my speech, and I hope I've given you enough information to help you or help any of the parents out there with an ADHD child. Thank you.